Good evening, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. Adoption of the agenda.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopts the regular council agenda for April 25th, 2024 as presented.
Could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Novakis. Seconded. Councillor Statham. All in favour? Carried. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest. Seeing none. No disclosure, so we go to number 4, public meeting. So we want to move into a public meeting. Could you read the recommendations, please?
That West Elgin Council hereby proceed into the public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act.
Okay, a mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier. Seconder. Councillor Denning. All in favour? That's carried. Evening, Robert.
Evening, Mr. Mayor. Good to see you back.
Yeah, thank you very much. Pleased to be back. Could you carry on with your presentation, if you wouldn't mind, please?
Certainly. This is a fairly small scale project in West Lorne. This is an existing residential lot, which remains in the downtown core, but just off of the main street of West Lorne, off of Graham. The lot sat vacant for quite a while, and the applicant has brought forward a little townhouse project that would see the introduction of 5 units on the property. These would be single bedroom units, really kind of geared towards single living or potentially retirees, likely with a single car. Parking on this is provided along the front of the property, just off of Monroe. Each property also has its own little outdoor patio along the side, which is a little different than the norm when you see at the back, but certainly they've made this work on the property. Council may also be aware that just to the west of this property are parklands that are owned by the municipality, so that affords the residents some opportunity as well to stretch their legs in the park next door. Certainly, they're in close proximity to the downtown. This is something that certainly helps support the downtown businesses, and also gives residents wanting to live in West Lorne or downsize certainly an opportunity to move to a location where they can walk to some of the day-to-day needs that they need. These are nice little projects to see. They're fairly straightforward. They rarely raise a lot of concerns. This was circulated to the neighbors within 120 meters. A sign was posted and was posted on the website. We haven't had any negative feedback from any of the neighbors up to today, unless there's somebody in the audience. I haven't spoken with anybody about the project or concerns that they've had on it. I think this has been a project that was proposed for quite some time. I actually recall getting calls about it prior to even the application being filed. So unless there's questions from the audience or the members of council, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the audience? No. Council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair. Robert, will drainage on this property be handled in a similar fashion to McLeod Court or the property across on Monroe or on Jane Street?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Denning's question, like all properties, they'll have to provide through the building permit stage grading plans and how they're going to collect and direct the water into the appropriate stormwater system so that they're not impacting on the neighbors' properties at all. It is a well-developed site, and certainly drainage will be a key aspect of managing this property and the project moving forward.
Thank you.
Anyone else got anything to say? Could I have the recommendation, please?
Just prior to reading the recommendation, I will confirm that no written submissions were received at the municipal office as well.
Thank you.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Robert Brown, planner regarding zoning bylaw amendment application D 17 2023 recommendation report, planning report 2023-50. And that West Elgin Council approve the zoning bylaw amendment for the subject parcel at 176 Monroe Street to rezone the property from residential first density R1 to residential first density special regulation 10 R1-10, including site-specific regulations as outlined in figure 3 of this report. And that West Elgin Council consider the bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw as presented in the bylaw portion of the April 25th, 2024 council agenda.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Navakis, seconder. Councillor Statham, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so we go on to the adjournment of the public meeting. Thanks. Okay,
That West Elgin Council hereby adjourn the public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act.
okay, a mover for that one, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier. Councillor Navakis, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopt the minutes of April 11th, 2024 as presented.
Is there a mover for that? Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? It's carried, thank you. There you go. So we go to 5.1, committee and board minutes.
That council hereby acknowledge receipt of the minutes of the Old Town Hall Committee, March 7th, 2024, the Arena Board, WECC, March 13th, 2024, the Rodney Aldeboro Fair Board, April 9th, 2024, and the West Elgin Early Years, February 2024 as presented.
Okay. I assume everybody tries to keep up to date with these as best we can. You know, so can I have a mover for that then, please? Unless anybody's got anything to say. Councillor Denny, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? It's carried. Okay. Business arising from the minutes. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. Staff reports, 7.1, planning. Is that the McLeod Court subdivision amendment to development agreement? Is that Robert again, please, if you wouldn't
Yes.
mind, Robert?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is basically being brought forward to council to insert some items that were not included in the original development agreement. When this was brought forward to the county, they request a letter of clearance from the municipality just to make sure that all of the conditions that the county and the municipality are included in that development agreement or are cleared ahead of time. Occasionally in our rush to get things moving forward, certainly a new subdivision is one of those. The odd time there's some wording that's overlooked or not quite sorted out the way that it should have been. So we identified that as part of the request from the county for the letter of clearance and are bringing back an amendment. We did reach out to the property owner. It hasn't impacted their ability to certainly move forward on this. It wasn't something that was not already addressed or certainly was not going to hold them up moving forward. This was basically just making sure that the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. These were things around making sure that oil and gas wells were plugged, that conservation authorities sediment control plans were implemented, and that most notably that the noise warning clause that was identified as part of the noise study was made sure to be included on that prior to anybody purchasing those properties, because that'll show up on their agreement of purchase and sale. So these have been added as an amendment to the existing agreement that council approved earlier this year. And unless there's questions from council, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions from council? Anyone? Seems straightforward. Can I have the recommendation, please?
That West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Robert Brown, planner, related to the required amendment to a development agreement for the McLeod Court subdivision, and that West Elgin Council hereby authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the amending development agreement and register said agreement on title.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Novakis, seconded. Councillor Statham. All in favour? Carried, thank you. Emergency management. Has anybody got anything? EMPCA 2023 compliance results? Has anybody got anything to say about that, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the chair, I just put this on as a report. We received this last week. This was our emergency management compliance order. Just to advise council that we did receive compliance for 2023. We met all 13 program elements for the year.
So that was excellent, really, wasn't it? Yeah, well done, everyone. Whoever was really responsible for it. Okay, thank you. So can I have a mover for that, please?
Can I read the recommendation, sir?
Pardon?
I'll read the recommendation, sir.
Oh, if you wouldn't mind.
That West Elgin Council acknowledge receipt of the 2023 Emergency Management Compliance Letter dated April 15th, 2024, advising the municipality has satisfied all 13 program elements required under the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act.
Okay, now we can go for a mover. Councillor Denning. Seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier. All in favour? Carried, thank you very much. Okay, 7.3. It's I think the clerk is about to speak, and it's about the dog park update for funding opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this report is brought back to council just to provide an update. I did do some research regarding any funding opportunities for a potential dog park. Unfortunately, I did not find any grants. One that I was pursuing looks like it did stop in 2022. But certainly if anything comes up throughout the year, whether it be a community improvement fund, anything like that, I'll certainly keep an eye on that and look at the criteria to see if we are eligible to move forward with this project. At this time, as listed in the report, it is again estimated at about $60,000 that would have to be added to the budget. So in the recommendation, I certainly I put it off till 2025. That's, of course, council's decision, how they would like to move forward with this project.
Anybody like to speak on that one? Okay. Deputy Mayor.
Through the chair, thank you so much for your time, the staff, for looking into this, as some residents had some inquiries about it. So it just makes sense for now to wait and see if it's something that we want to do in the future and see if there's any funding that goes along with that. So once again, thank you for your time looking into it.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I'm going to look for a mover then. Oh yeah, sorry, I keep jumping ahead.
That West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Terry Toshchuk clerk regarding an off-leash dog park funding opportunities as information only, and that possible consideration be brought back for the 2025 budget deliberations.
Now we'll go for a mover. Deputy Mayor Tellier. Seconded. Councillor Statham. All in favour? Carried. Okay. 7.3.2. Poultry attack from dogs. That's, could you elaborate on that, please?
I sure can. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So unfortunately, this claim was received in 2023. There was multiple that were reported on different instances, and this file certainly got, not intentionally, but did get put off. So the municipality received these complaints. It was a neighbor's dog that came onto a property and killed multiple ducks, geese throughout the course of spring of 2023, again in the fall of 2023. So supplementary to this report, I also did send council a separate email with the pictures of that. Of course, that was not something that needed to be on the public agenda. So with this, we do not have a valuer appointed in the municipality. So to obtain the value of it, I went on the OMAFRA website and got the values directly from there for each duck for egg production, breeder, and then the goose breeder as well. So this one is handled quite differently than the OMAFRA's program for when anything is killed by, say, coyotes, weasels, anything like that. This is specifically for when dogs attack poultry or livestock. So Section 3 in that act does indicate that the municipality is responsible for paying for this. Followed by that is Section 5, where it does indicate that the municipality can go after the owner of the dog to recuperate those costs. So knowing who the owner of the dogs is, we can certainly go forth with that, pursuing to obtain those fees back. So outlined in there, of course, I put the value for each one with a total compensation for any of them that have been killed. Total value of $730. Some other things to add that were not on the report. So I did check, the zoning is zoned as agricultural 1. So this property is eligible to home ducks and geese. The applicant has not filed for any, there's no compensation under their own home insurance, farm insurance, anything like that. It is specific to this act. So they have not received any compensation for any of the loss. And so in speaking with the treasurer to where we will get these funds from, there was, and Magda, please correct me if I'm wrong, a park reserve. There was a reserve set up at some point specifically for this, but there is no funds in it. So moving forward, we would certainly like to add something in a little bit of each year so that in the event anything like this does happen, again, there is a reserve there to cover these funds. So from now it would be coming from, I believe, the dog park reserve fund. And then once we receive the compensation from the dog owners, those funds would be put back into that. And I do believe that covers anything. Does anyone on council have any questions so far?
Thank you, and through the chair, and thank you for your work on this. I didn't see anything about, is there a time limit on the attempt of recapturing these costs from the owners of the animals?
So in Section 5, there does not indicate a time that it would to recoup the cost back of it. Unfortunately, with this file being missed, it should have been dealt with long ago. We should have compensated back in 2023 for this. So moving forward, there will certainly be some better procedures put in place when something like this has been received. But as far as recouping the cost, there is no timeline. Certainly if the owner chooses not to pay, then we can put it on, it can go through property taxes.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah.
that. And then, excuse me, one follow-up. I suppose that this experience is something that our staff who are currently working on researching a backyard chicken bylaw can be mindful of, because I can see this sort of thing being more frequent if we do have backyard hens in our communities, with dogs and poultry being closer together all the time. Just saying that that's probably something we should be mindful of. It's the timing of this experience is probably, it's interesting.
Absolutely. And certainly in the Protection of Livestock and Poultry from Dogs Act, it does indicate in there when there is a valuer that they will go to the property, and one of their requirements is to verify that the owner of the chickens, the hens, have built a proper structure to protect them from these events. And it does not protect as well from their own dogs pursuing the chickens. Yes,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
yes,
If you have free range chickens standing on a fence, you know very well the next door neighbour dog isn't gonna be too pleased about it.
Mhm.
So you gotta be fair on this.
absolutely.
So, okay, it's like a debenture almost because we give money out, but we're going to recover it, correct?
Correct, correct.
Yeah, okay. So, if everybody's finished speaking on it, could we have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll read the recommendation.
Yeah.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Terry Tostrup, clerk, regarding claim pursuant to the Protection of Livestock and Poultry from Dogs Act 1990, and that council authorize payment of $730 payable to the applicant pursuant to Section 3 of the Protection of Livestock and Poultry from Dogs Act, and that council direct staff to recover the costs of the claim from the owner of the dogs pursuant to Section 5 of the Protection of Livestock and Poultry from Dogs Act 1990, and that council direct the clerk to immediately advertise for a livestock valuer for the municipality.
Okay, now I'll ask for a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Novakis moves, seconded, Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried, thank you. So we go on to 7.3.3, the Old Town Hall Committee update. Who's going to speak on this one? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this report was brought to council today to provide a few updates from the committee. So the committee met last week on April 18th, and they are interested in expanding the committee to a total of 5 members. Currently, it is 3. There's currently 1 member of council and 2 members from the public. However, unfortunately, after this, I also did receive a resignation from one of the members. So I have brought, there was 1 additional application that we received at the time that we formed the committee. So the committee, we would like to put that member, which is Norma McPhail, we would like to add her to the committee. She has accepted the position pending council's approval and is excited to join for that committee as well. So what the committee is asking from council is authorization to add 2 more members of the community. The committee would also like to facilitate an open house. The proposed date is May 13th at 7:00 PM at the Rodney Recreation Center. And this event will be facilitated by the committee, and it'll allow members of the community to come out, talk with the committee, let them share their opinions and some ideas as well. So those are the 3 requests from council to add 2 more members to support the facilitation of a community open house and approve the addition of Mrs. Norma McPhail to the Old Town Hall Committee. Is there any questions at all from council?
Anything? No. So if Norma has accepted that one, so we're looking for 1 in that.
So we're sorry, we're still looking for 2 more members. Yes, so Norma will bring us back to the 3.
Okay, then you want to.
And they
add
would
2.
like to add 2 more committee members.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I get it. Yes, please.
Through the chair, do you want another council member?
Through the chair, yeah, could we do 2 council and 3 committee, 3, I guess 4 community? It's just, we don't have enough people, I feel like if anything goes forward, we don't have enough bodies, ideas around the table, input, manpower. So that's what we're finding with myself and then just 2 others and then staffs there.
Yeah, that's right. You're overwhelmed.
So for voting purposes, we would like to keep it at the odd number.
Okay,
If we would like to have the committee as 2 members of council and 3 members of the community, that is certainly an option.
I kind of feel it's the community's town hall, we should have counselor. I feel like we should up it.
Okay,
I don't know anybody else feels, just jump in, I won't be offended. Just because it's their town hall, it's their community.
right.
We're the voices for what they want, but.
So the next
Yeah, I
step,
don't know if anybody else feels that way or not. I mean, how many people we have in the other committees? Like, I think my Heritage Homes Committee, not the building committee that I'm just on, but the main committee that I'm appointed to through council. I believe we're 12, if everyone shows, if everyone can show, 11 or 12. And so it's just a member of the staff that works with Heritage Homes, Patty Reed, myself, and the rest are from the community, 2 being tenants from there. And then, yeah, all my other committees are very large. So this one just seems super small to make a decision. I realize it's a committee that's for a place in time, but yeah, anyways, jump in. Let me know what you guys think. You think that's too big, or what do you want to do with that?
Nice to get a few people on, so that you get, you can discuss it better and more ideas come forward.
Through
But
the,
eventually it'll come to a public meeting, won't it?
on the 13th of May. Yeah, yeah.
Through the chair, I think making it a little bit bigger would be helpful. Perhaps we can move faster with more people.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from the municipality. We seem rather weak only having one on a committee, to be honest with you. I am more happy with 2. At least, we got a stronger voice, whichever way it goes. Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, just to add to that, then, we could have 2 members from council and then 5 members from the community, which would bring us then to a total of 7, keeping it an odd number. So currently we have 2, so we would be advertising for an additional 3 members from the community to join.
yeah, I can't see that would be a problem if you advertise as such. I'm sure there's some people there that's got interest. But that's only my opinion. I mean, it's what the council says too. Do you want to speak again? No. No. Okay, so I'm gonna ask.
Sure. So the amended recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Terry Toshuk, clerk, regarding the Old Town Hall Committee updates, and that council directs staff to advertise for an additional 3 community members to be added to the Old Town Hall Committee, and that council support the Old Town Hall Committee to facilitate a community open house, and that council approve the addition of Councillor Navakis and Mrs. Norma McPhail to the Old Town Hall Committee.
Okay, is everybody in favor with that? If we do, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Statham has moved it and Councillor Navakis has seconded it. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you.
Through the chair, welcome Councillor Backus and welcome Mrs. McPhail.
I am going to turn up at some of these meetings this time. Now I'm back again. I'm planning on calling at most meetings. Just to get a feel of everything that's going on. And it's not going to upset anything at all. I'm just there as an extra. Okay, so we go to 7.4, finance administration. Asset retirement obligations policy.
Thank you,
Magdalene,
Mr.
is
Mayor.
that yours?
Yes, it is. Thank you. So enclosed in my report is a fairly new policy to our municipality, asset retirement obligation. And the purpose of that policy is to comply with new regulations, PS 3280, asset retirement obligations. So the purpose of the policy is to ensure that details regarding these obligations are enclosed, are part of our financial statements reporting at the end of 2023. So why the policy? Because we have to have accurate identification of assets, and we have to have procedures in place in order to do so. The policy that you have in front of you, there is, I can quickly go through it. There is a purpose. So the purpose of this policy is to, for the users of financial statements, so they can see the information about our assets and their end-of-life obligations. The objective of this policy is to ensure the liabilities and costs associated with the assets retirement obligations are properly and consistently and accurately identified and accounted for and disclosed in our municipal financial statements. So basically, this policy will help us to establish and will provide us kind of check off items on how to identify assets, retirement obligations, and when and how to recognize them. Because at the end of the year, we're going to have to recognize liability. So we have, currently we have 3 or 4 assets that meet the asset requirement obligations policy. One of them is landfill. The other one is Old Town Hall, or buildings that we own that potentially, a good example would be that potentially were built with asbestos. Another example would be if we would have to check if we have water lines that contain asbestos. Another example would be gravel pits as well. So there is, as you can see, quite a few of these assets that the municipality own. Certainly, the assessment and obligations will be, we will be reaching out to engineering firms and skilled people that have knowledge on these assets. So the amount of the obligations can be accurately determined. So there are, I included definitions, our roles and responsibilities. So anybody in our municipality, any employee that is responsible for asset management will be required to follow this policy. It's a complicated policy, so because there's rules on how to recognize these assets and how the assets need to be disclosed in financial statements. There is a complicated calculations, but our first step is right now is to develop the policy. Then we're going to move on to identifying these assets and then, making assessments and calculations for accretion expense that can be disclosed on the financial statements for this year. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll just, the values of all them assets, they vary all the time, don't they?
They do, but most of these assets are fully depreciated. And so accretion expense works similar to depreciation expense. It's just we're taking the amount of the cost associated with, getting rid of that asset. So let's say
Anything.
if we own an old building, we know there is asbestos in that building. We have to estimate the cost to remove the asbestos before we demolish the building. And that cost has to be accrued and disclosed in financial statements.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Denny, did you have something to say?
Yes, thank you, through the chair. So obviously, this is something that the province is making municipalities do. I am assuming there won't be any money coming from the province to help offset the staff work that's gonna have to go into this, and if not, if we don't know of any, is there an opportunity for us to perhaps reach out to the municipal association, because I'm sure everybody's having the same conversation, to see if our group would be willing to put together a letter, or perhaps we could draft that for the AMO to see if we can request some funding to offset these costs.
Okay, a good idea. Anyone else has got anything to say on it? Yes.
Through the chair, so just to clarify, since there's a lot to read in that, and you're right, it is a little confusing. A little detailed. So right now, you're just gonna develop it, then it'll come back for approval?
No, so basically this policy was reviewed, the draft policy was reviewed by our auditors. And they pretty much they're okay with with the definitions and how the assets should be recognized, and they recommended that we bring this to council for approval.
So if we have an old building, building X, and we've decided we're not gonna, we either can declare it surplus or do something with it, is that gonna stop us from making either of those decisions?
No, so if the building, if council is thinking of, let's say, selling the building, no, there's, you're getting rid of the assets. But let's say, if council is thinking of demolishing old building, and we know for sure there is asbestos in it. So, so that cost us, so before we even do that, before even council makes that decision, when those assets are identified, there is going to be a cost associated with the obligation.
Okay,
So let's say if the building, the entire building cost is value is $400,000. However, to remove and down the road, if council wants to demolish that building, that's fine. There is no obligation with demolition. However, there is obligation with removal of asbestos. So that cost is going to have to be accrued this year, regardless of futures council's decision, and put in our financial statements. So if the cost of removing asbestos is $100,000 6 years from now, then there is a formula. So basically, we have to bring $100,000 back to today's dollars. So whatever that amount is, that's the amount that we're gonna have to accrue for
Okay.
in our financial statement.
that's kind of what I thought it was, but I just need more clarification, and thank you.
Yes, Councillor Francis.
Through the chair, I can't, why is the Ontario government asking for us? Like, what is the bottom line? Not having done this in the past, what did that cause, right? Like, I don't understand why this has now come up and what the effect is, like.
I think number one, it's number one, the reason why they're doing is because to protect the environment. Because as you know, number one, it's the environmental initiative. Number two, there was regulation 3770 that was that was only related to landfill closures. And as council is aware, we set aside money for the post-closure cost associated with landfill. So currently we have $600,000 in that. However, landfill falls under this new regulation 3280. Regulation 3270 is being eliminated.
Anyone else has got anything? Well, we have to go along with it anyway.
Yes. Yes.
You're a good idea though, Councillor Denny, that we should pursue that and see if we can get some help with that. Yeah, carry on.
It's a little frustrating, that the provincial government has, decided to, put the emphasis on this, remedial work on municipalities as opposed to a municipality declaring a asset surplus and selling it to somebody else. I guess the provincial government assumes that the person it's going to be sold to isn't going to be held to the same account or not going to act the same way as a municipality would. Which is very unfair to paint everybody with the same brush. But because they are essentially declaring that divesting these assets and doing the remedial work is upon us, is incumbent on the municipal government, I think it's very worthwhile for our association to reach back out to the province and compensate us for this additional obligation they're putting on municipalities.
We'll go along with that 100%. Okay, so can I have the recommendation, please?
The amended recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Embadura, CAO Treasurer, regarding asset retirement obligations policy, and that West Elgin Council approves the asset retirement obligations policy, and that council directs staff to prepare a letter to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario requesting provincial monetary support to facilitate said policy requirements.
Thank you. Could I have a mover, please? Or did you want to, oh, you moved, okay, councillor Denning. Seconded, councillor Statham. All in favour? It's carried, thank you. So we go on to 7.4.2. 2024 budget, final draft.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we're revisiting 2024 budget based on council's input. I made few revisions in our budget, and I would like to go through them very quickly. So on the reserve page, there was a correction that I made under water. There was amount for water modeling study taken out of water resource, but it was done in error. That money is coming out from tax stabilization reserve. Another addition that I made on that page was under reserves for West Lorne Complex. We are taking out 13,427.87 cents, the balance that we had in the reserves to offset the cost of renovations on this building. So the roof and the inside of the library damaged drywall. And if you turn to operating budget under council, I changed, I deducted $5,000 under conferences and seminars. So we're down to 15,000. Mileage was decreased to $500, and recognition award was decreased to $10,000 from 15. So that was those are the only changes that were made under council. Under fire department, we decreased the amount of spending for employee recognition from $2,000 to $1,000. Unfortunately, for building repairs and maintenance, we had to add a little bit over $11,000 into that account. And the reason for it is that 2 water tanks need to be replaced in West Lorne Fire Hall, as well as there is fire chief is planning on some refreshing training room in Rodney. And also we looked at the monthly expenses for the fire halls. $20,000 is the appropriate number to budget for. As well as council asked me to verify contracted services the amount, so that number did not change. We're still budgeting $106,000. However, when you compared it to 2023 actuals, the number was understated, and the reason for it is because we did not get invoices from Township of Southwold. So now, as you can see, the 2024 budget is slightly a little bit lower than 2023 actuals of 121,000 for contracted services. There was next change was under Parks and Recreation. So the master plan, the $40,000 was deferred to 2025. Same with the transfer from reserves, towards master plan was eliminated. And under West Lorne Library, so the number we had to up building repairs and maintenance to $25,000 to cover the cost of the roof and inside the repairs on the inside of the building. Phone and internet, that account was completely omitted. For some reason was not listed, so I added it. Those are the monthly bills for phone and internet on this building. And whatever we had in our reserves, we're transferring to offset the cost of the expenses on the building. And those are, I didn't make any other revisions. Now I would like to turn to council to see if council feels comfortable with the proposed budget, or you would like to see additional revisions.
Hey, Councillor Novakis.
Through the chair, I just have a couple of questions. So originally I'd asked about the fire department because we had signed an agreement for contracted services. So now our fire chief is being shared with 3 municipalities. So I'm a little bit concerned or confused that it didn't drop further if he is now split 3 ways.
Yes, I can answer that. So yes, so we currently, as of April 1st, we are sharing our fire chief 3 ways with neighboring municipalities. But at the same time, we, in order for him to do his job, we had to increase his admin assistant hours to full-time. So, and admin assistant hours are also being split 3 ways. So there's two full-time positions.
Carry on.
Through the chair, I was looking at this, I'm a little concerned that we've under budgeted, and not that I want to be raising people's taxes, but on administration salary cost. For wages, we haven't seen much of an increase, but I know that based on our organizational review, one of our department heads is should see an increase in wage. And then I'm just wondering if that covers our other report we're expecting. We are only raising our wages from admin about $12,000 from 2023. And I just want to make sure that the municipality administration is staffed. So like, it doesn't seem like that's enough currently.
So, just to answer that question, so the amount in wages, $532,000. So it consists of wages for all administrative staff, including new position, manager of corporate services, for half of the year, as well as a revised position of accounting clerk. One position, as I mentioned at the last meeting, one administrative assistant position was eliminated. So the budget covers wages up to that point. but going forward, I did not budget anything for those. Don't forget that there's also additional $16,000 under administrative budget when you see transfers in to reserves. So that's the so this is our administrative assistant for operations, for the manager of operations. Their wages are being are posted under Parks and Recreation, and 1/3 of the wages goes under administration. So that's the portion of it. Based on current changes, there is, so just like I said, it would have been hired if we had a full-time treasurer's position for the entire year, but unfortunately there is, I budgeted 6 months for this year. It would have been way higher. And the same with increased wages for accounting clerk.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Marcus?
Through the chair, yeah, I really just want to make sure that we've given ourselves enough so that we have the staff that we need. So if
Okay, let's see.
we feel that that's it, then
Yes. Councillor Denny.
Thank you. And through the chair, two questions. First, just following up on something that Councillor Novakis brought up. I remember back when we were asked as a council for the blessing to allow our chief to provide services to an additional neighboring community. And I remember asking what financial impact that would be. And I can't remember what the answer was, but I can't imagine that the answer was it's going to end up costing us more money. So I really have a concern with that. And then the second was, again, on the fire department. I don't remember hearing before, maybe I wasn't paying attention, about the fact that they need 2 replacement water tanks. I'm guessing that's the portable tanks. Excuse me. And I'm gonna continue to circle back on every time I hear about duplicates being purchased with our West Elgin Fire Department. I'm gonna continue to ask the question, as our 2 stations work to becoming more of a unified department, are we really buying 2 of things? Are we buying things for one station, one for one station? And is that a duplicate? So I will continue to ask that question. And that's one of those questions right now that I'm asked. Do we need to buy 2 additional portable water tanks? Do we not have one in Rodney? Can we share? Those are my questions and concerns.
Thank you. That was a good question. My ears went up when I did hear that statement too. Yes, please.
Through the chair, there's one more thing in terms of wages. So if you look under asset management, under administration, that $97,000 also consists of wages for GIS shared position as well as the students' position. So if you add everything up, it you know, the wages for this year are way higher than what we had last year. It's just they're disclosed differently.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
through the chair, thanks, Magda, for that. And I think I'm seconding Bill. I know that in our last time when we brought the fire department budget forward, I brought up my concerns. The wages have increased, the training has increased, the mileage has increased. Our community has not grown that much. And so I'm seconding Bill's. I question that added expense. It does seem to be the one department that we, on my second budget, we don't often cut. So it just keeps growing every year. And like I said, our community is not getting bigger, and I just want to make sure that we are justifying the mileage and the training and the extra equipment.
Mhm.
It's a good point.
There is, through the chair, there is more requirements in terms of training for the fire department, and the employee turnover on fire department was also has also increased over last year. So that kind of dictates, you know, the amount of training and then their hours as well.
Which is absolutely no choice in doing that. I mean, they have to do it. If they're told to train for a certain thing, that's what they gotta do, correct?
That's correct.
Is anyone else? Oh,
Through the
Yeah,
chair.
Ken.
So I don't want to hold up the budget at all. I think that just perhaps follow-up answers to my questions would, which would be, why is it that, providing the blessing to facilitate our chief providing service to another community is and ending up costing us more money? And is there a solution to that? And again, just perhaps next time we have our fire chief with us and we're having discussions, we can ask just a few more questions about just the ongoing strategy for our fire department. As I said, I don't wanna stop or slow down the budget at this point, but I would like to hear a more specific strategy with the initiatives of streamlining our fire department and working really hard to find efficiencies that find that balance between ensuring that our fire department has all of the services and the training they need, but also trying to be responsible with taxpayers' money, because as Councilor Novak's put up, it continues to increase at a significant rate.
by comment? Anyone else got a comment to make? Or shall we go to the resolutions, please?
That West Elgin Council hereby approve the 2024 budget as presented, and that council directs staff to prepare the necessary bylaws for the adoption at the next regular meeting of council.
Okay, so I'm gonna look around the table and ask for a mover. Councillor Denny, seconder, Councillor Statham. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much. Now, we're into, does anybody want to go for a break? Or is everybody okay for now? Okay, everybody okay? Okay, we'll carry on. So we go to 8. Committee and board reports or updates. And there's the arena, recreation, 4 counties. Goes on right the way down. You've got it on in front of you. Heritage Homes, Fair Board, the Old Town Hall, Rodney Park. Anybody got anything to say on any of them? Yes, please. Councillor.
Through the chair, so for the Heritage Homes, so there's a main committee that I am appointed to from community council, but then we have a secondary one as a building committee. So, and Mayor Leatham is there as a citizen, not as a committee of council, so that's great. Thank you for your time to come out for that as well. So it's comprised of a wonderful group of people looking to, as you know, extend our building there at the back of Heritage Homes. And with our building meeting, we just had, we're looking at, I think I've sent everybody the non-approved minutes from that meeting, just for information's sake. So when things are going on in the public, everyone's not like, what? So yeah, they're thinking of expanding it to 3 levels. It talked about 2 meetings ago. So the one before Mayor Leatham was back. And we're looking into that and what the implications are. But I just wanted you guys to have a heads up that that's what we're looking at doing. The original contractor could not, he's retiring, I believe.
That's correct. So-
Yeah, so we have Devonshire
So-
Consulting is who we've interviewed and are getting approval from the main board and the building board. So
I just sent the signed document back, in actual fact.
trying very hard to get this going and get some funding and get where it needs to be. There's 83 people on the wait list. Takes up to 10 years for a double and anywhere between 5 and 8 for a single. And with the new build, they're looking at having mixed housing. So some market rent, some geared to income, and some based on your income. I forget the wording for that, but affordable, I guess would be the wording for that. So, yeah, it's very exciting, but a long, long road still. So I just wanted to let you know where we're at with that. And then our recreation committee, we're really getting ready for Canada Day and still talking about that a lot. And I had questions about the park revitalization. Where's that at, Ryan? Was you hear all these rumors that there's gonna be and the gates are going down and the fence is moving and there's gonna be a parking lot extension and I'd like to know what's really going on.
Through the chair, I'm not sure that we've come up with any firm solutions. We met, thanks to Lee and staff, we met on site. Came up with some good potential locations. At this point in time, I don't think anything is concrete. There was some discussion about removing the fence surrounding the horse track, which I think is a great way to open up that area. But to my knowledge, and Lee, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that there was any firm decisions made at this point in time.
And then through the chair, the other question I had, who is on the West Elgin Community Health Center board? Is that yourself? No, I don't think anyone's been attending.
If it's me.
So you're the youth task team or whatever they're called now. And then Ryan is the homeless coalition. But then there was another committee that you're just to be on the health center, so I'm not sure who that is. I just know we don't get any minutes or anything from it, so. And I don't remember anyone being appointed to it when we first did the committees, but were they? Terry, you're gonna speak to that? Thank you.
Thank you through the chair. So in the bylaw, we have Mayor Leatham is on that committee.
Yeah, I should, but I did serve 6 years on that committee. And I thought after the 6 years, you had to leave a gap of 2 years before you could return.
Okay.
But I'll certainly go back if you want.
Is there another member of council that would be willing to fill the position?
I'm not able to because I work for them at times. And
Let me
then
just go back.
I'm just thinking it's super important because they're having their 30th anniversary celebration in July. So, and they have so many things going on. So I just thought it was important that somebody be represented around that table. If not, then we can remove it, whatever council's wishes are.
I can do that. I'll do that. I'd just like to go back to Heritage Homes. You know, they were thinking of a 3-story building. I did check with the fire chief and he said that is no problem to the equipment that we've got. They can manage that. So that was one of their questions they wanted from the committee. The other, there was going to be a total of hopefully 54 units. You know, I mean, that is, you know, a lot. And it will ease the problem quite a lot. Not so many 2-bedroom ones, because the ones that are in, you know, used mostly are the single. You know, it's when somebody's got a house down the street and unfortunately one of them passes away. They don't really need a 2-bedroom, they're looking for a 1, you know, and it's affordable. So that's what we're, you know, the way we're at it right now. Devonshire Consulting are going to, are looking at it and applying for grants, etc., etc. Spreets are going to be the engineers, and hopefully we heard from them this morning. So as soon as we can update you on everything, we will. But it's a race. We're trying to beat the elections, obviously, because they're throwing money away. If there is a chance of a grant, it's going to be before the elections, not after. At least that's our feelings. Anyone else got anything? Yes.
Fair board meeting was this week, and I think the only big change is that the demolition derby will be on the Friday night this year as opposed to the Sunday. And then June 20th is the fundraising dinner. So I think tickets go on sale next week.
Okay, thank you. That about wrap that up? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we go to 9, which is accounts. So there's a recommendation associated with that.
That the mayor and treasurer are hereby authorized to sign payment voucher number 4 amounting in $3,043,283.08 in settlement of general road, water, and arena accounts, including check number 26420 to 26427, EFT number 8089 to 8269, and online payment number 1349 to 1364, and payroll pay period 7 to 8.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a mover for that, please? Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconder, councillor Statham. All in favour? It's carried, thank you very much. Notice of motion. There was none received, correct? Council inquiries and announcements. Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Not sure if it's the time to do it or not, but so this past Tuesday, CAO Badura, Mayor Leatham, myself, Karen Vecchio, and her amazing coworker Jill, we all met via Zoom and discussed everything that we have going on in our municipality. It was, I feel, an amazing discussion, back and forth ideas, sharing, resource pulling, what we could do. CAO Badura highlighted our budget objectives. So to complete the pay equity, implement 1-year recommendations of our organizational review, work on development charges and decide on the old town hall future. And then we talked about, so much more, our infrastructure, funding for that, our wastewater in Rodney, Heritage Homes once again, our grant that we put in for 2019 for the town hall, what would those monies look like in 2024, 2025, if we wanted to go ahead with that original plan, just to open up the ideas, just to know what we're playing with and what that would even be an option anymore. And I don't know, I felt it was a really good exchange that we had. We have upcoming a meeting, Mayor Leatham, CAO Badura, myself, with our county CAO this coming week. So that'll be another great exchange of ideas and information. And got to do a fun thing yesterday. I think I missed Councillor Denning. I think he was in the morning and I was in the afternoon. And we're all Aldeboro School reading to the children. I read it to 5 different classrooms, so good thing I talk a lot. And they were a lot of fun, let me tell you. And I asked, my street was called Deer Street. And so at the end I asked what's their favorite thing about their communities. And let's say the Rodney Scoop and the trampoline park in West Lorne. I don't know, we had a trampoline park in West Lorne, but that was a big one. I think they meant the skateboard park. But yeah, it was really, really awesome and a fun thing when you're a counselor to do. And I also got to do the CAEBC while we were at the office on Tuesday, called. So I gladly was excited and jumped out of my seat and took that call. And they came and interviewed about our old jail. So I told them we had a second jail in the town. And we didn't go in the town hall, obviously, but I told them about the town hall. And then they drove by and they'd be interested again in doing a little piece on the town hall. And they couldn't wait. They were off to Wheatley to learn about the fishing, the history of fishing in Wheatley. So they couldn't stay and listen more about the town hall, but they were very interested in the jail and they asked for a tour and I said it won't take long. So it's 270 square feet, I believe. So lots of fun. But yeah, I thought you should know about the meeting with Vecchio and then the upcoming one. So if you have any questions you have for any of us for a CAO meeting upcoming, we're open to those. If you have anything you want to discuss with the county CAO, want us to bring up, that would be great if you brought that forward.
Okay, thank you for that. Have you? Carry on.
Thank you through the chair, and thank you for that. That's exciting. And that was an incredibly exciting meeting that you had with Heritage Homes. That's pretty awesome, pretty historic, and things are gonna get popping now.
And a great group,
Absolutely.
like.
Absolutely. So with us wrapping up budget deliberations, I just want to make sure that we are going to be effectively communicating to our community that there is in fact going to be a tax rate and prepare the reasons why that is, but also take a moment to also celebrate the fact that the hard work of staff has allowed our sewer rates of Rodney and West Lauren to hold the line. So that is a good news story in the midst of a time when many municipalities are having many difficult discussions and many tax increases are happening. I'm proud of the work that we've done to do our very best to be responsible and to help staff find good solutions to challenging problems. So thank you and congratulations to all of you. I wanted to take this opportunity because I'm sure a lot of you, I know I have had lots of questions. We've had a transition when it comes to garbage pickup. We've had some schedule changes. And so I was just wondering if there was any update that could be provided to us so that we can continue to provide updates to our community about where we're at with regards to, with regards to garbage pickup.
You got anything, Lee?
Yeah, through the chair, I guess I can provide some information on that. So actually this morning, staff met with representatives from Waste Connections. They traveled down from London. We met at the municipal office and we reviewed the contract and the issues that we're seeing and that are going forward. And you know, I think that they struggle with the same things that we do with keeping good help, retaining good help, and making sure that they have enough bodies to do the job effectively. We did have 2 weeks ago now, beginning of April, we did so we made the transition. That was a request from Waste Connections to, we had both heavy days for them, collection days. So the two towns, Rodney and West Lauren, were back-to-back days and they were struggling with that. So the idea was to take Thursday and Friday, which Thursday was the town of West Lauren, Friday was the rural area north of West Lauren, flip those 2 days. So that would give them Wednesday, if they had an issue and they ran late or had to finish up the following morning, they didn't have a heavy day Thursday, and then they could be better prepared for Friday. And if Friday things went awry Friday, they could collect Saturday if they had to. So there was a little bit of confusion on the contractor's end first thing Thursday morning. But once we got that straightened out, they got everything collected that they were supposed to collect on Thursday. And then Friday went off without any calls to the office. Things went well. So, and that was a garbage only day. The following week was garbage and recycling. And that went off without a hitch. So I think that residents, you know, there was advance notice given for that. And I think that being prepared paid off. And there was obviously there are going to be items that are going to be placed curbside that are not, you know, that go against our collection, you know, what they're allowed to pick up. So the idea with that, so what Waste Connections is working on is they're having stickers. They're going to be oversized. We did provide them back when we started curbside collection with stickers, and those stickers need to be put on anything that they're leaving. So if it's overweight, oversized, you know, if it doesn't meet the criteria that's set out, we provided them with those stickers. That's been 2.5 years now since we started that, 3 years now since we started that. So what they found was because of the trucks being moved around, the truck that's collecting West Lauren maybe doesn't have those stickers in it, whereas a truck that's been repurposed or been sent somewhere else. So their idea behind that is because all of us, most of their contracts, we have the same criteria. So what they're going to do, Waste Connections is actually going to get stickers made up with Waste Connections on it. So it won't have our municipal logo, it will be generic. So they can put rolls of those stickers in all their fleet right across the board. So that there'll always be something there. So that if the driver gets out on the collection route and they find something that doesn't meet the criteria, that can be identified, that can be labeled so that the resident has a better idea of why it's been left. And then that hopefully will avoid some of the calls coming in. We talked about upcoming events. So the yard collection, which has been advertised, that's going to go the week of right following the long weekend in May. So May 20th, 21st. So residents are being notified to have their yard waste curbside by 7 a.m. on Monday. The contractor's hoping to have it all done in one day, but there's a chance, depending on the quantity and whatnot, that it could carry on into Tuesday and possibly Wednesday. So, but everybody's being told to have that stuff out, so that they are prepared for that. There'll be a truck coming specifically for that. And I guess the last thing that we kind of touched on, and it's just in its infancy, but I guess I can share with you, is we're exploring the idea of we're going to have some further dialogue with Waste Connections for health and safety reasons, for manpower reasons. They have contracts. They are moving in the general direction of side loaders. And, when we first started our curbside collection contract with them, they didn't have the equipment to service additional side loader contracts. But what they told us today is that there are new trucks coming to the fleet later this year, hopefully, that have been ordered that are for that purpose. So, that's something that we're going to have some further dialogue with them and look at the costs, see what it would take, and see what their capacity is for that, because certainly we still have, if we fulfill if we take the extension on our collection contract and see it right till the end, we'll be with Waste Connections till 2027. So that gives them a few years to be able to work that in. And then, that's something that possibly could be looked at for budget for 2025.
Because, yeah, you'd have to update the garbage containers, wouldn't you?
Yeah, through the chair, that's correct. So once you go to a side load system like that, then, you've seen in some other communities around, they have the wheelie bins that would hold, say, 3 bags roughly, or there's different sizes depending on the contract that could be put out. So that's something that we're going to investigate further and see if the contractor, has the capacity to go that way.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Telley?
Just noting that when garbage does go around and they're shorthanded. I do not envy that gentleman as he gets out, drives, gets out, loads the garbage, gets back in, drives the next. I see them a lot of times shorthanded, so I can't even imagine how that would be just amazing for them to have that implemented. So thank you for that information, though. I was wondering when it was coming.
Pardon?
The St. Mary's open.
Yes, if you want to, please.
Yeah, through the chair. St. Mary's Daycare is officially opening on the 29th. So Councillor Denning and myself, Minister Lecce was to come, but now he's not able to make it. So very exciting. The spots, as you know, already been filled long ago, and huge wait list. Like children right now who are on it won't probably get in because they'll age into school. So that's how filled it is, both daycares actually. So very exciting to have something new open, and something we worked hard for. And I think it was 2019 and 2020 to bring, and to see it to come to fruition is great.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that we brought to Karen Venetio, that the need for this community, if we want to bring new people in, new subdivisions, new houses, we need modern facilities. So more childcare, etc. Modern days, 2 people work in a house nowadays, not 1.
Yeah.
Yes. Councillor Statham.
Thank you. And through the chair, I had an inquiry for staff that I wanted to just quickly go over regarding the status of the organizational review. So the organizational review, the first draft was provided to council in December. Final report was provided in January. We're now the end of April, so we're nearing the 3-month mark. And if I could just quickly go over the phase 1 of the organizational review, there were a few recommendations. Number 1, facilitate first CAO-led staff town hall, formalize 3-level leadership model, establish a 4-department model with timelines to add manager level positions, create and fill manager, corporate services, treasurer position, create and fill the shared specialist asset management position, move forward with a shared generalist HR position in partnership with Elgin County. And lastly, to provide mandatory people management training for all managers and supervisors. So those were the phase one, which the timeframe for that was within 6 months. So my question is this: I'm curious just to know, after a 3-month, we're halfway through that 6-month period, I would like a report from staff on where we are at with that organizational review and how far we've come through that process. If that was something that could please be generated, I would like that. Thank you.
I can't answer any on any of that, unfortunately, but
I can certainly prepare a report for the next council meeting. Half of the initiatives are underway. We are currently preparing for town hall meeting with our employees. Asset management position was filled, as you know, and it's in the budget. We're in the process of recruitment of the treasurer or manager of corporate services. So pretty much without having that key position of manager of corporate services, we cannot move any further with further changes, because that position kind of influences other positions. So until manager of corporate services position is filled, unfortunately, that's, we cannot move any further.
does that answer any of your questions?
But I will still, through the chair, I will still bring the report in greater detail to council in regards to organizational review, what's been completed and what is going to be completed this year with
So
the
for the next
timeline.
meeting, you'll have more information. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. And I guess one other quick follow-up with regard to the people management training for managers and supervisors. I feel like that's something that we could probably check off that list without filling those other positions. Would that be agreeable? Could we?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Novakis.
I remembered before I left, I do have an announcement.
Oh, go, yeah, carry on.
This coming Tuesday, it is the Women in Business Networking first kind of shindig, and it's sold out. So congratulations to that group. Very excited to be attending. I know Deputy Mayor will be there as well to speak. And if anybody wants tickets when they're seeing this, that they can reach out to the group, because if someone can't come, they're creating a wait list.
And they were featured in the Chronicle.
So
Oh.
great.
Wow. Anything else on that one? Okay, so we move straight away to correspondence. And if you've all read the 12s, the 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. If they, yes, carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to add to the section to item number 12.3 that an email was received today as a follow-up, just indicating that the free water testing for wells is going to be staying in place.
Oh.
So that's good news.
That is good news. Especially in a rural community like ours. Thank you. Okay, so there is a recommendation attached to that, please.
That West Elgin Council hereby receive and file all correspondence received April 25th, 2024, not otherwise dealt with.
Okay, can I have a mover for that, please? Deputy Mayor Tellier. Seconded by Councillor Denning. All in favour? Carried, thank you. We'll go with 13 items requiring council consideration. 13.1, West Elgin strategic plan, it's the final. 2023 to 2027. Have you got anything on that, anyone?
Oh, through the chair, that's this, in your agenda, this is the final copy of our strategic plan that will be posted or is already posted on our website.
Okay. So there's a recommendation for that, and do I call for a mover and seconder? No, it's just for information only.
I did put a recommendation on there that council just acknowledge receipt of the strategic plan 2023-2027 final copy, and then council direct staff to post the strategic plan on the municipal website for public access.
Do you need a mover and seconder for it? Okay. Deputy Mayor Tellier and Councillor Statham, please. That is seconded. All in favour? Carries. Thank you. Sustainable infrastructure funding for small rural municipalities. 13.2. Anybody got anything on that one?
Through the chair, I believe I pulled that one out. I like money and I like money for infrastructure. So I think whenever somebody else passes it along or we can see it, the more we can send it to our provincial partners, the better.
Yeah. Yes, carry on.
Through the chair, on that particular agenda item, Councillor Statham and I just got back from the Good Roads Convention. And of course, one of the keynote speakers was the Premier, and the facilitator of the fireside chat asked some very pointed questions of the Premier about funding for repairing aged infrastructure across the province of Ontario. It was pretty clear that the current provincial government's ambitions right now is new infrastructure projects, as opposed to repairing old infrastructure projects, which is concerning, especially out in the rural areas. So this letter is very timely, and I think that we need to continue as a municipality and as a group of municipality to put pressure on the provincial government to remind them that I think it was $44 billion.
It was just over $40 billion. I think it was $41 billion in repairs are necessary.
So there's a lot of money out there. We just need a share of it.
44 billion is what it's going to cost to update all the infrastructure across the province.
Oh.
That's not the money.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wishful thinking, Mary.
Yeah. You must hope.
Yeah. So positive, you looked for the positive.
Yeah. So where do we go from this one? Please.
The West Elgin Council hereby receives and supports the resolution received from Hastings County regarding sustainable infrastructure funding for small rural municipalities, and that council directs staff to provide a letter of support to Hastings County with a copy forwarded of the resolution to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honorable Kinga Surma, Ontario Minister of Infrastructure, the Honorable Paul Calandra, Ontario Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario.
I think it's a good one. So can I have a mover, please? Councillor Novakis, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you. And 13.3, a letter received April the 22nd, 2024. Lupus fundraiser requested for a fee waiver for Miller Park on May the 18th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As indicated, this request was received for a fundraiser that's going to be held in Miller Park, May 18th. My understanding is they do have all three of the fields, the soccer fields rented. They've got quite a bit planned, different activities, games. I believe there's going to be some food vendors there. That is my understanding. This is a fundraiser for Lupus Canada, and certainly if anybody is unaware of what that is, the applicant did provide a great information sheet on what it is and how it does affect oneself. So certainly council has the option. Option one is to approve the request. Option two is to decline. Certainly there is also the option as well to approve a certain portion of it. The total rental for the event would be $508.50, which includes taxes.
Okay, what is the actual cost? Does anybody know what the actual cost is to the municipality? If there's no grass cutting, you know, everything's within what's usually happening there. I mean, it is a good cause after all. Yes.
Through the chair, given other things, it is a great cause. They're providing free activities and a number of our partners, nonprofit partners will be there providing food. And they often then take those profits and put them back into the municipality. So for me, I think this is an acceptable waive of fees. That it does look like they're providing numerous activities for people who are not participating directly in the soccer, so I would support it.
Yes, councillor Denny.
Through the chair. So certainly, I don't think anybody would dispute that this is an incredibly worthy cause. It's always exciting to see new fundraising initiatives and events come to West Elgin. But literally 2 weeks ago, we had an organization come to us with a request to waive fees for an event at one of our facilities. I will pause and I will.
Through the chair, I thought about that, but the difference is that the organization who is asking us to waive fees takes fees. They make money. It is not nonprofit. It is not giving back to charity. This is an organization that charges the participants money. That organization makes money off of this event. And so how I'm looking at them at two separate is that this to me is like Tiny Tots or the West Elgin Health Center or Optimus or Kiwanis, who are nonprofit trying to raise funds, as opposed to an organization that is not nonprofit, who charges people money, who is asking to use our facility. To me, they're two different things.
Yeah, absolutely different in a way when you look at it in that right. And I was looking at what it's going to cost the municipality, and it seems like it's very, very little, if any. Yes.
So through the chair, and thank you for that comment, and absolutely there's differences in these organizations, but again, I think that we need to be very, very careful about what it is and how we are deciding to support different organizations. We are constantly setting precedences, and I just want to make sure that we're not putting out confusing messages to the community about certain events being worthy and certain are not. All of your points are absolutely accurate, but will the community see the difference? And that's my concern. I think that again, like the organization that is wanting fees waived at the rec center for their event, I'm assuming at its core, there is a not-for-profit organization within that then takes that money and puts it back into the organization so it can continue to do recreational activities. There is a service club that is going to be there present, providing services and making money, generating revenue that is then going back into our community. I just want to make sure that we are all making decisions that are going to make sense to the community that we're representing.
Yes.
And because when I saw this, I knew that this was also going to be the one other difference though between the organization that is making money, they are using our water, our hydro, and our facilities in the kitchen. The food trucks that are coming are using none of our water, our power. They'll be self-contained units. The way I looked at it was the same way I looked at our community grants. And what I'm guessing is that this organization didn't either get their grant in time or didn't know that their grant could be asked for, but would have met all of the criteria for this municipality to be considered under those granting requests. And for most, if not all of the grants where we were asked to waive fees, we as a group decided that we were going to do that. So looking at it, if they had got their grant in on time, we would have said yes to that request based on how we said yes to everything else. So that is also how I'm going forward with this, that a criteria we have already used, they fit.
Councillor Statham, please.
Through the chair, I also, in looking at this agenda item, thought the exact same thing, as Councillor Navakis and Councillor Denning. My thought process was, sort of a middle of the road approach. I suspect to your point, Mr. Mayor, if we looked at the actual cost to the municipality, which I assume is quite low, perhaps there would be, some wiggle room there where we could meet in the middle, so to speak. Where we waive the majority of the fees, make sure that the municipality's costs are covered. And that benefits both parties. It ensures that, we don't have, some outstanding expenses, but at the same time, we're supporting the fundraiser. And I think that sort of would satisfy everybody, in my view. But that's just a suggestion, so.
Oh, do you want to speak?
Through the chair, so in terms of outdoor activities or events, there is cost associated. So there is cost associated with prepping the area for the event during and after. So clean up and make sure the garbages are available, garbage cans are available, make sure the washrooms are stocked properly. And, for the events like this, we usually have 1 or 2 operators staffed during event like this in case there is a need for them, and they are regularly check the garbage cans and maintain the fields during the event. So in terms of the cost, there is a cost. There is, they're hourly, usually they're on overtime. So it's overtime associated, and I'm not sure, it doesn't say how big this event is going to be and what kind of support they require from the municipality, but right now I'm just coming up with, basic items that they would need from the municipality.
Lee, could I ask you a question? We're talking about this Loops of fundraiser. How many? What would you think that the actual cost for the municipality would be on a fundraiser like that? Would you have to cut the grass prior, or is it okay? The washrooms have to be cleaned, the garbages have to be emptied. So have you got any idea at all, like, what it might cost?
Through the chair, I think, to be fair, I think I'd have to sit down and take a look at it and see, like, based on when the event is, how long it's gonna run.
Yeah, I understand that, really. Just off the top of your head, it's on the May the 18th. Okay, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, through the chair. Can we meet halfway on this request? Since everyone seems to be at a standstill, then they can still have their fundraiser and we still have some of our fees covered.
That's what that was
What's
the same
the
line
thoughts around the table on that one?
as I was thinking.
Through the chair, I think that, again, just my main concern is the optics of all of it from the community perspective. So based on just that alone, I would say to apply the same metrics as we did for the shuffle borders 2 weeks ago. Half of what they've asked would be the exact same. And if that is exact same, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that provides us with the opportunity to justify our actions when questioned about this within the community.
Yes. Councillor Navakis.
Through the chair, then, I think then, and I'm a big believer in this, we need to have criteria then, right? And if we are, and just for me, if an organization has the ability to make money, has ability to set the rate of their participants coming into a building, then they have the ability to budget for the cost of renting the building. Someone who is having a fundraiser can't necessarily control those inputs. And I agree, I think we have to be accountable to our community and accountable to why we make decisions. So perhaps it's something we as a group can start to work towards, like what is a criteria that we are working with, because that will also then prevent people from being upset with decisions that we've made, because we've made it quite clear as to why we have made the decisions we have.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Through the chair, not wanting to speak for Mr. Kennedy, but I can imagine, and having organized things before, when it's the first time you're doing something, you don't know the expenses, you don't know the turnout. There's a lot of variables you're not quite sure of. So, yeah, we could look at that too for him as well, like maybe he's just not knowing. I'm not sure about the Lupus Canada fundraiser. I'm sure the foundation has lots of fundraisers for and maybe know what they're doing. I mean, Mr. Kennedy would have direction from his association, but it's a small community. It's not a lot of stuff here. People stay overnight or anything. It might be like the unknowns he's maybe not sure of, but yeah, so I think halfway would be great, but I'm also hearing Councillor Backus to have something to set it by a bar every time we have come up with these requests. And then I'm hearing Councillor Denning that the optics of it need to be the same all across the board all the time.
Councillor Novakis.
Through the chair, did we not also set aside $10,000 for community groups as well? Right, so before we start looking at that piece, it'd be very helpful for us to decide if that $10,000 is for registered charities or nonprofits or groups in our community, like before that comes up.
Yeah, it's quite obvious. We've got to come up with something eventually. And we're, you know, with this, we're starting to run out of time too. So it would be nice we try to get, is there any way that some of that 10,000 could be used or not? At our expenses?
We can perhaps defer to the next council meeting if council is more interested in cost. There was no real cost provided to
Well,
council.
It isn't really a matter of cost. It's a matter of being fair with everyone.
Mhm.
There was a cost in there. So there's a cost there. It's 508.50 plus taxes
But
included.
that's the
right.
rental cost, but.
Oh, you're
council
saying
wanna know
the staff
the
cost. Okay,
actual-
sorry, I misunderstood.
Yes, Councillor Novakis.
Through the chair, I don't know necessarily if I want to know the actual cost. In that we have a rental cost of 508. That is something that has been set. And I think if we maybe, I fear, start to look at the actual cost of things, we'll see that it's more than the 508, right? Like we've set our rental rates for a reason. So that is what it cost. I'd rather look at that as the number. And I would be happy with going with half if that's what today, just so that this
Is that-
organization knows and they can move forward.
Deputy Mayor, did you want to speak or?
Yeah, so
Or
through
is
the
that-
chair, I do an option 3. The council decides to waive half the costs as asked
Is that
for the
consensus around the
fees for
room?
Miller Park for May 18th, 2024.
I can see 1, 2, 3. I think everybody's in agreement with that right now. And I think until we get something really ironed out, which I agree we should do for the future. So, you know, that we know exactly what the rules are, what the fees may be for certain facilities and everything else. And then there's no arguing between everyone. So I think as regards this then, if we go 50% and that until we get something really ironed out, could I have the recommendations, please?
The amended recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receive the request received April 22nd, 2024 regarding the fee waiver for Lupus Canada fundraiser, Miller Park, May 18th, 2024. And that council approve the request to approve a 50% fee waiver for Miller Park, May 18th, 2024.
Thank you. Can I have a mover for that one, please? Deputy Mayor Tellier. A seconder, councillor Statham. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you very much. There, 14, upcoming meetings and holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just added to the agenda to go through May. So Wednesday, May 1st, we have the Economic Development Committee at 7 o'clock. Sorry, that is actually at 9 a.m. in the council chambers. Tuesday, May 7th, we have the Old Town Hall Committee, 10 a.m. at the Municipal Office Boardroom. May 8th, we've got the Arena Board, 9 a.m. and the council chambers. May 9th, we've got the quarter revision for the Sherman Drain at 3:45 council chambers, followed by council at 4 o'clock. May 20th is the Victoria Day holiday where the municipal office will be closed. May 21st, we've got Tri-County Water, 7 o'clock PM in the council chambers. And Thursday, May 23rd, will be another council meeting at 4 o'clock PM in the council chambers. Did I miss anything?
No. There's heritage homes and that. We don't even know when our next date is really, so that's fine. So there's nothing on that. So we go to 15, which is bylaws, 15.1, 2024-30, McCall Drain Construction Deventure.
That bylaw 2024-30, a bylaw to authorize the issue of a debenture in the principal amount of $12,420.79 for the construction of the McCall Drain, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Councillor Denning moved it and seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you very much. 15.2, 2024-31, zoning bylaw amendment. 176 Monroe Street.
That bylaw 2024-31 being a bylaw to amend the municipality of West Elgin comprehensive zoning bylaw number 2015-36 for 176 Monroe Street, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Thank you. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Tellier. Seconded. Councillor Denning. All in favour? Carried. (15.3) 2024-32, update appointment bylaw committees and boards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this bylaw was just added back on here as an amendment because I did notice that the Old Town Hall Committee was missing from it, and I just cleaned up the agenda or the bylaw a little bit. So the recommendation is that bylaw 2024-32 being a bylaw to appoint members to the various boards, committees, and authorities in the municipality of West Elgin, and repeal bylaw 2023-79 be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Could I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Statham. Seconded by Councillor Navakis. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. (15.4) 2024-33 site plan agreement. V&V Enterprises Incorporated. 12450 Furnival Road.
That bylaw 2023, sorry, that should be 2024-33 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan agreement with V&V Enterprise Inc. 12450 Furnival Road, and repeal bylaw 2024-27 be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Have a mover, please, Councillor Navakis, seconded by Deputy Mayor Tellier. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. And we go to 16, which is a closed session.
That the Council of the Municipality of West Elgin hereby proceeds into closed session at 5:49 PM to discuss matters pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239(2)B, personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees, Section 239(2)C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and Section 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations.
Can I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Tellier, Councillor Statham, seconded, and all in favour. It's carried. And now we're going to go into a break for 5 minutes or so.
That's why I had.
Report from close at 7:05 PM. Is that council received items pursuant to the Municipal Act, Section 239(2)B, personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees. Section 239(2)C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. And Section 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Council provided staff with direction where necessary, including the following recommendation: that council authorize the extension of the special projects manager position until May 31st, 2024. Need a mover and seconder, please.
Yes, mover. Councillor Statham. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? Carried, thank you. And now is to confirm in bylaw.
That bylaw 2024-34 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of council held on April 25th, 2024, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Statham. Councillor Denning, seconded, all in favour? It's carried. And that takes us on to 19, which is adjournment.
That the Council of the Municipality of West Elgin hereby adjourn at 7:06 PM to meet again at 4:00 PM on Thursday, May 9th, 2024, at the call of the chair.
A mover, please, councillor Tellier. Seconder. Councillor Denning, all in favour? It's passed. Thank you very much.